guys, it's Stephanie from My Porch Prints. Welcome back. Today we're going to be working with this Petite pack, and this is actually a set of kits in our Etsy shop. They come in different colors. This is the neutral Petite pack, and there's no specific purpose for these. They are not meant to build like a certain project, but rather they are just a collection of things like labels, tags, envelopes that you can put together creatively to make your own project. So I'm going to give you a few ideas for how these can be used today. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to begin with, I printed out some of the pieces. I converted some of the PDF files to JPEG and cut them out using my Cricut. And if you want to know how to do that, I'll put a JPEG converter down below, like a link to one that you could use if you want to. And I've also got a link to our tutorial for how to use Cricut to fussy cut. So if you don't want to hand cut all the pieces, you'll be able to do that if you have a Cricut. And then I went ahead and printed some of the papers from this kit on cardstock. I'm going to be using those to make something in just a little bit. And they're just printed on one side, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then I've also printed off some of the labels on sticker paper using Cricut, and I kiss cut them so that they would be like stickers. And the way I did that was I used the sticky note setting on my Cricut. And again, I'll put a link down below so you can kind of get an idea of how that works. And then these are some of the note cards that come with the kit, and I did flip them over and put them back through the printer to print a printable paper on the back. And that's just because, you know, these may be floating around. You might pull them out of a pocket or something, and I want to make sure they weren't white on the back. So just a few ideas for what you can do with this kit. You know, you can print on paper or cardstock, you can print front or back, you can hand cut, you can use Cricut to cut. It's really up to you. But let's go ahead and just put a few of these pieces together, and I'll show you how they work. Okay, so to begin with, we're going to do just a little pocket project, and this is one of the like little blank note cards from the kit, and I printed on the back of it, so I'm going to use the back side. And then this is one of the little file cards. I rounded the corners, and we're just going to make a really simple little pocket. And I've got this little butterfly. He's gonna go right in the middle. And then I'm gonna set that aside to dry for a moment, and I'm gonna make a little tag to go in the pocket. So this kit comes with a variety of tags. I cut a few of these out here. And you can just play with these however you want, and you can add lace or buttons or cheesecloth, any kind of layering you wanna do. And then of course the kit comes with a bunch of little labels and fussy cuts that you can also use on these. And I've got a little cheesecloth here I'm going to use for some texture with this. Cheesecloth comes in different textures, and some of the weaves are a little bit more like tightly woven than others, and I like these loose weaves. So if you can't find cheesecloth like this, we've got a link down below to our Amazon influencer shop, and there's something called creepy cloth that they use at Halloween, and this is like a beige colored creepy cloth. And it works really well for texture and to get that kind of loose weave. So I'm just going to play with the layout a little bit, layer things. This is a really fun kit for layering. There we go. And then one thing I would like to do is run these through the sewing machine. And it's just a regular sewing machine. It's a Brother, it's probably like 20 years old, and it has regular needle and thread. I'm just gonna sew around the outside edges just to give it kind of a little more interest and kind of dimension to the pieces. Okay, so I just did a couple of quick and messy little stitches. I did a zigzag stitch here and then just a straight stitch here. And I think it just gives it a cute little something extra, you know? And so we've just got a little floating pocket now, and this can go in your journal. So let's make another project. Okay, and the Petite packs come with a couple of little mini envelopes, and you just basically fold them along the lines, you know, just like that, to create a little envelope. And then you can decorate it and add it to your journal. This one, I think we're gonna try to make a hidden paper clip with. So I'm going to start by assembling my little envelope here. Okay, and I'm just cutting some scrap pieces here that I'm going to use for the hidden paper clip. So I just folded this piece in half, and I'm going to put my paper clip on here, and then we're going to cover it up with another piece of paper, just like this. You want to get a line of glue along the bottom of each side so that it seals that paper clip in there. And it makes it so that you can slide this paper over your page when we're done. I'll show you what I mean. Kind of open this paper clip up just a little bit. And that'll also help it slide down onto your page. And I'm going to go ahead and round these bottom corners just a little. And we'll glue this to the back of our envelope. And now we've got a little hidden paper clip that'll slide over our page just like this. So let's do another project. We've got these note cards again that come with the kit, and I'm just going to add some decoration to the corner, and this will just become a little writing card for us. There we go, and I think I'm going to run this one through the sewing machine as well. Okay, and this is just a cute, simple little writing card for your journal. Let's do another one. So this is one of the craft cards that comes with the kit, and again, I printed on both sides. And then these are just some pieces, and I thought we could do a kind of little belly band here. And there's kind of an art to layering. I'm not the best at it, but I like to try. And I think, you know, just trying to make interesting angles, keeping things kind of perpendicular to each other, and using some things that are more horizontal and some things that are more vertical together can kind of make it look really cute. Play around with your layouts, have fun with it. That's what this kit's for, is just to get creative and have fun. Go, and I think I'll again go run this through the sewing machine. Okay, so I think that looks really cute with the sewing around the edges, and now we've got a cute little belly band tuck for our journal as well. So now I think we're going to go ahead and make a small journal. Nothing too big, but we'll just use some of the papers from the kit. And again, I printed them on cardstock, and this one's been cut because I used it for that other project. But we're gonna go ahead and just use these. I printed them one side because we're going to fold them in half. So I'll show you what we're gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just fold each of these in half. And again, I printed them on cardstock, just so they'll be good and sturdy. And then we're going to bind them together. And I've got these binder rings. These are fused triple binder rings. We use them with our pocket journals. And there should be a link for these down below, or a link to our Amazon shop where you can find these. And if you don't have fused binder rings, if you want to use regular ones, that's fine too. I think these are like 1 inch, 1.5 inch binder rings. But I'll show you what we're going to do with this in just a minute. So I'm going to kind of use my larger pieces as my guide here for how big I want this to be. I want to make sure that they fit on the pages. And I think this looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut around, get rid of this white border. And then this will become kind of a guide for cutting my other pages. And don't feel like you have to do things exactly like I'm doing them. This is just an example of how this kit can be used. But you can get creative. You can make the pages any size you want. You can make the projects any way you want. The point of these kits is to get creative and have fun. And you can even make your pages different sizes. They don't all have to be exactly the same size if you don't want them to be. So I'm just going to continue this until I have all of my pages, and then I'll show you what we'll do next. Okay, so I've got all of my cardstock pages cut to the same size. And now I'm going to go ahead and just glue them together. If you wanted to, you could glue, along just one side and the top and leave area for a pocket, or you could leave the top open as a pocket. It's up to you. I think I'm going to go ahead and just glue mine completely closed. And when you do this, you'll have a pattern that's right side up on one side and upside down on the other. I used, I think, the vertical papers for these. So, you can see that the pattern will be, well, this one's pretty uniform, so it may not make a difference. But some of these, it may be upside down. Anyway, if you want to remedy that, let's see if I can find one that makes sense. Like this one. See, it's upside down, right side up. You could just cut the fold right here and then just flip the other side the correct way before you glue them together. So that's an option. I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to leave mine. Okay, so I've got these all glued, and now I'm going to go ahead, I think, and round the corners because I like that look. It gives it a little more of a finished look. So the corners are rounded, and now I'm going to go ahead and attach the pages. So we've got this fused binder ring, and what I'm going to do is just kind of eyeball this. And if you wanted to, you could use 2 binder rings, put one up top and one at the bottom. That might be really cute. Or you can just use one in the middle. It's up to you. I think I'll just use one for this. And then I'm going to kind of mark where the holes will go. And this piece is a little bit dark for this. So I'm going to actually get a lighter piece to use so you can kind of see where I'm marking. So, roughly in the center. I'm not going to get too worried about it. If you want to measure, you can. And then we decide how far we want our holes in. Probably want to give it a little bit of room to turn the page. So maybe like right about here. There we go. And I've got a crocodile for punching my holes, but if you don't have one, you could always use just a paper punch or a sharp object, something like, an awl. It's up to you. And you can kind of see those holes are punched. And I'm going to use those as a guide for punching the rest of my holes. So I'm going to line up my papers, and then I'll draw where these holes are, and I'll punch them out. Make sure your papers are aligned. And then this one, you can tell it has a little bit of an upside down side. I'm gonna make that, I think, my back cover. So this will be the inside of my back cover, so I'll probably decorate it, but this I might not. So I'm gonna have that be kind of right side up on the back, if that makes sense. So when I flip to my back cover, this will be kind of the upside down part. And then when I flip to the back, the very back of the book, it'll look right side up. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense in my head. Okay. So now that we've got these marked, we'll punch them all out, and then we'll put this together. Okay, so holes are punched, and we're gonna go ahead and assemble this. I've chosen this darker piece as my front cover, and then this darker one as my back cover. And you basically just put these through the holes and connect it. Okay, so now we've got our little journal with our covers, and we're gonna go ahead and add the pieces that we created. Okay, so we added our decorative pieces, and I've got a lot more room, so I'm gonna go ahead and just play with this kit and kind of show you some ideas. Okay, so we made this cute little journal just using pieces from our neutral Petite pack. And it's got, I think, a lot of just character and really cute, fun pieces. So again, you could use this kit on its own, or you could use it in conjunction with a matching journal kit if you wanted to make like a full-size journal. But this is just one example of what you could do with this kit. So thank you so much for watching. I'm glad that you guys joined us for this. If you like this, please remember to like and subscribe and comment below with ideas for what you think you might do with these Petite packs. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.